always tell when a streak's going to come to an end. You win a couple of games, you probably shouldn't.
There are teams out there that could use that quality of playoff goaltending. All right, Ray, you ready to do this?
Yep, let's go.
Powered by Rev Media in partnership with TSN, it is Season 7 of the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast, presented by our title sponsor, Tim Hortons. The Tim's Hockey Challenge is back in the Tim Hortons app with a chance to win daily and monthly prizes for picking players who you think will score. Plus, there's a chance to win a new Hyundai Tucson at the end of the year as part of our grand prize. Canadians can also try to keep a 7-day streak alive and win a free coffee or tea for a week. Not just a day, Ray, for 7 consecutive days. Check it out in the Tim Hortons app and online, timhortons.ca, for a full list of prizes. So I'm going to pull at your heartstrings, Raymond, to start this podcast. If you're listening or following us on our YouTube channel, that's great. Al Arbour, Alexander Steen, and Barrett Jackman were inducted into the St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame on Monday night. What a night it was. And you know, so many NHL teams do a masterful job of content providing, right? On all the social media channels. The St. Louis Blues, for me, are one of the best, and how creative they have become with their alumni. I mean, the Ice Guardian stuff with Kelly Chase and Brett Hull and all the guests they roll through there, I get stopped on that every single day. Because every day there, you know, Garth Butcher was like last week or the week before, and some of the stories that come out of that pod are just incredible. So shout out to the Blues and everything they've got going around them. But on this night, as I mentioned, the honor Steen, Jackman, and Al Arbour, and also honored Kelly Chase, who was recognized with the annual True Blue Award, an emotionally charged evening for a multitude of reasons, but certainly around Kelly Chase. And if you saw some of the snippets online, you can appreciate where I'm going with this. You know, Brett Hull talked about the influence of Kelly and his wife, his family on Holly, and how he developed as an NHL superstar, which is incredible to see how choked up he got on Monday night in talking about, you know, again, the friendship and everything that Chaser did for him in making him the St. Louis Blues star that he was. And then you've got a mega star like Garth Brooks, who is a close personal friend of Kelly Chase, you know, taking us into that realm of, you know, why Kelly Chase is such a good buddy. And then they cut away to Chaser, and the man couldn't lift his head, maybe for a minute or two, because he was just so overwhelmed emotionally with this outpouring from all these great men and great women. So I give credit to the Blues for just being as class act as you can possibly be. But then I bring it back to our world, and more specifically your world, and Kelly Chase in general, and just the battles that he's gone through, but the friends that he's made along the way are remarkable.
Well, start with the Blues and the alumni. They've really tapped into a pretty amazing group of people there. And I when they were playing when they won the Stanley Cup, they had Game 6 in St. Louis, and they had a chance to win. And they had to take an extra box because all of the alumni that had flown in, they just wanted to be there to support their team, their city, the connection. I'm not doing it any near the justice it deserves. Like it's a pretty, it was an incredible thing to see. How many people just wanted to come back, and not to celebrate a possible championship, but to be part of that Blues family. Chaser has always been at the forefront of that. There's nobody more proud to be a St. Louis Blue than Kelly Chase. He played with his heart right up on his sleeve all the time. If you've ever been around Chaser, he's got like this enormous personality, and he knows everybody because he gives a damn. Like he just cares. I get traded to St. Louis at the very end of my career. So there's like 13 games left. I'm 38 years old. Like, I don't know anybody. I fly in, I go to the rink to practice the next day, and I'm meeting guys, and now I know I know this guy and I know that guy. And Chaser comes up, he's like, "What are you doing for a car?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I just got off the plane. I get nothing, you know." And he's like, "Oh, I'll look after you." Next day, there's a car in because he knew somebody that owns a car or string of car dealerships, and all of a sudden I had a vehicle, and like I was like I didn't even I really hadn't had much dealings with Kelly up until that point, and I'm like, man, he just did that because I became a St. Louis Blue. Like, it made me feel like this was important to be a Blue, and everywhere Chaser goes, he knows people know him. I've told this story, I think, before, and I'm going to tell it again because it's kind of funny, but it really is what Kelly is. And there's no bullshit to Kelly.
No.
This is the way you do it. This is the way you do it right. I'd been, traded to the Islanders at this point. I'm Black in Hartford playing. Kelly's a young guy. Mm-hmm. But he's already got a reputation. I don't know if people had seen that story he told on the Ice Guardians about Gordie Howe going to make a name for himself, and he fought 4 times in training camp in the first day and a half. Well, everybody kind of knew who Kelly was by this point, and we're in the game and we're ahead, and Kelly comes up to me in the third period and he's like, "Stop freaking slashing people." He goes, "It's enough." And I was like, beat it. Like, what do you mean? I'm not slashing anybody, or, whatever I said. So late in the game, there's a scrum. And in between, I had gone to the bench, and Mick Vakota, our tough guy, really tough guy, he's like, "Don't worry about Chaser. He's an honest guy." Like, but I'd gone over the line apparently in this circumstance. And so or he was just frustrated, whatever it was. So there's a scrum at the end, near like the minute left in the game, and Chaser's like, "I told you to keep your freaking stick down." And I was like, "Shut up." And I was like, F you. And boom, he hit me dead center, and he knocked my visor so hard back into my nose just went poof. And I was just pouring blood out of my nose. And so I'm like, "Whoa," you can't see, right? So I go back he's like, "I told you." He was mad at me because I hadn't stopped. And so I go back to the bench, and Mick looks over and he kind of smiles and he goes, "Sorry about that." But I was like, to me, it's funny because the way it all worked out, but Kelly had said, "No more. That's it." And so you just see this respect around him and what he's done for people. And it was a beautiful tribute last night. And Chaser, lots of people always think about you. And we're always sending our best to you, buddy.
Always. Well said, and well done by the St. Louis Blues. All right, a lot to talk about around the National Hockey League, Ray. So let's dive into the headlines brought to us by the Canadian Brewhouse. Hey, hockey lives at the Canadian Brewhouse. Catch every game. They've got beer specials, game day prizes, so much more, all at the best hockey house in town. So check it out at thecanadianbrewhouse.com. You'll get the details on what your local brewhouse is up to this hockey season. So we've got some good news and some bad news with the Tampa Bay Lightning. 10 straight wins as of Monday night, as the Lightning beat the Philadelphia Flyers 5-1. That obviously is the good news. The bigger story, though, is the significance of Brayden Point's injury. And we don't know the entirety of the injury. What we know is what we saw. And, the Canadian grabbed his right knee after getting tangled up. After scoring a power play goal, by the way, he gets tangled up with Flyers defenseman Cam York mere seconds after that goal. He needed to get escorted, helped off the ice, couldn't put any weight on that right leg. So we're not going to speculate, but I think John Cooper, Ray, summed it up best post-game. I mean, it's a terrible injury no matter how it plays out, but the timing of it is incredibly tough, not just because of the Olympics, but as Cooper said, because Brayden Point had a slow start, and his game was just now over the last, 6, 8, 10 games, tracking back to to the level that we're accustomed to seeing Brayden Point play.
Did not look fabulous, did it? When he went down, the way that he went down, and so basically the way that the process will play out now is the doctor will have looked at him last night in the locker room. They would have first thing this morning. He'd be in some imaging if they didn't get it done last night, and they'll have the pretty full scope of the picture of what his knee looks like by, well, what time is it now? It's 10 o'clock Eastern. I'd be shocked if they don't have it now as to what it looks like, and then you try and build the plan around whatever that picture tells you.
Right.
I saw something online and I'd kind of forgotten about it, but remember when Stamkos got hurt, he was, 60 goals, Steven Stamkos at that time, and he broke his leg in Boston, and that was in an Olympic year too. And for these guys, that there's so much on the line, and for their team, themselves, the Olympics, it was a really significant thing. And hopefully the picture is better than what the video looked like.
Yeah, and look, I mean, we don't mean to be insensitive. It's just the reality of the calendar here. And we talked about it when the Olympic teams were announced, the American team, Team Canada, that, okay, you may not love the main roster, but hold on a minute here, because there's a significant amount of time between now and getting to Milano and actually playing the game. So the reserve list is going to matter. So a Point is a no-go. Who do you think Doug Armstrong's first call is? Is it Bennett? Is it maybe Connor Bedard? Is it Mark Scheifele? Is it Wyatt Johnston? Any of the above? Who would you start with?
Well, it's funny. So as I'm watching, those are the four names that come to my head, right? I think they're pretty clear that those would be the ones they would kick around. I guess it would depend on what they planned for Point on that roster.
Right.
Because, Bennett is not Wyatt Johnston, right? They're completely different players. Like my first inclination is, oh, gee, there's the spot for Bennett. My second thought is right-handed forward, power play guy, maybe add a face-off guy as well. Oh, but maybe Point was going to play the wing. So does that take Scheifele out of the mix? Does that include Bedard, but also Wyatt Johnston plays the wing?
Yeah.
I think the most similar player is Wyatt Johnston. I think the most talented player is Connor Bedard. I think the toughest player is Sam Bennett. And I think maybe the most complete player is Mark Scheifele. So my point is there's four different looks at that position that you could fill with. It doesn't feel like, I don't know what you think, Dregs. I'm curious, man. Like, it doesn't feel like it has to be a 1v1 substitution, like the same guy go in. It feels like to me the guy that was left off the team was Sam Bennett.
Yes.
Who has played really, really well of late. Like, it feels like that would be the next guy, but if they're looking stylistically for the next guy, then I think it's Johnston. I think Johnston's terrific. That's kind of what I have in my head, but man, if it became Bedard or Scheifele, like how would you go, oh, gee, they don't belong? Like, the other thing too is they've also got 3 weeks to make a choice here, right? Like, they don't have to make a choice tomorrow. If they announced Brayden Point's out of the Olympics, they don't have to replace him tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, look, I don't know that Doug Armstrong and the crew, including John Cooper, the head coach for Canada, view Wyatt Johnston as similar a player to Brayden Point as you do. I don't know that, but I'm interested in your interpretation of Brayden Point and who is closest to the style of game he plays, because Armstrong has said publicly that it will be a 1-versus-1. And the type of player that replaces the injured player is going to be a similar player to that injured guy. So,
well, if that's the case, it's not Bennett.
Yeah,
because they're not the same. They're
then
just
does
not.
Does it then feel like a double snub if it isn't? We're not going to know that until they I can't imagine, to your point, with the time that they have remaining, they're going to, if we know Brayden Point is done, and we'll know that in the next couple of days, I would think.
Well, I think you'll know it
But,
quicker than that.
yeah,
You know
but we're
who's going
not
to
going to
know it
know who.
first? You know who's
John
going
Cooper.
to.
Yeah.
John Cooper's going to know it first, right?
Yeah, but we're not going to know the replacement. There's no
Oh,
way,
I see.
no
I
way
see.
Team
Yeah, no.
Canada is doing that. I
There's no
hear,
reason
I
to.
hear. No, there's no reason to, and you don't know. Maybe there's another injury and Bennett slides in that way. But if the roster remains intact the way it is, and the one substitution is in fact for Brayden Point, then there'll be some hurt feelings, I would think, from those who celebrate the game of Sam Bennett. 10-game point streak for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Wow.
Yep.
Willie Nylander scored in overtime, the overtime winner in Colorado, which is a tall ask to win any game, regulation or overtime in Colorado. First loss, Ray, at home for the Avalanche since October 23rd. That ends a 17-game winning streak. And as impressive as this turnaround might seem for the Maple Leafs with points in 10 straight games, for me, it's pretty obvious. When you go into Colorado and you beat the Avalanche, then you've got something going. This is more than just a small window of turnaround success. I mean, that's you want to be cliche, for me, that's a statement game, the win last night.
Well, they played, like, their second period was really good, really good. Yeah. Joel was excellent in the third period. Like, Matthews scored again. Nylander is back now and scored in back-to-back games. They skated well. Like, I thought, like, they skated, like, they were aggressive. You're not going to skate with Colorado all the time, but I thought they played the tempo they needed to play, obviously, to win. They got a break in overtime when McKinnon's shot hit the post and just, spun across the goal line, but they still got to win. And
yeah,
I go back to when this surge started, right? You can look for 100 different reasons. There's one reason, and that's Matthews got going. Mm-hmm. And, like, everything flows from him. Like, even the way he scored last night, the confidence he had at, like, just like his celebration, like the little, like the little fist pump, like he's back. Like he's back. That's the Matthews you expect, and the Leafs lead. I wrote a couple of things down. Since December 1st, their penalty killing's number one in the league.
Yeah.
Right? So it's never just one thing. Oh yeah, they changed the power play coach. Mark Savard was out, and whether it was that change or just fresh air or a new idea or the players just kind of relaxed because it was a different voice, whatever it was, their power plays in the top 6 or 7 in the league. They're scoring goals at 4 and 5 a game again. Yeah. And defensively, where's the number? They're like in the top 6 in defensive play since that time. So, like, all these things have added up to, like, whatever the hell they were doing earlier in the year, that team's now parked. And they found maybe the right line combinations, the right swagger. The goaltending is way better. I mean,
way better.
No team goes on any run of any kind unless the puck stays out of their net. And, Anthony Stolarz is skating, but holy, like, all of a sudden they're getting like 9-15 goaltending from Wool and Hildeby, and it's pretty tough to tinker with that right now.
Yeah, and a little bit of luck too, right? Like the Cowan goal gets them going. Sometimes you need that, right? I mean, I think you went off Brent Burns in front of the net, but that's just a little pop there to get you going. All right, mile high, all of the stuff, all the factors that play against you. And then the other goal I want to talk about, I don't want to call him a depth guy, Bobby McMahon, because often you'll see him elevated into that top 6. And we know he's a fast player. I mean, that was just flat out breakaway speed, wasn't it, from center ice last night? I mean, that was just pull away flat speed.
They had they threw up some stat about 20 mile per hour bursts. Yeah. And McMahon's was the third fastest burst of speed in the NHL this year.
Incredible.
And now you got to remember too, as you're watching that, the puck is misplayed.
Yeah.
And so McMahon's already going forward. The Leaf or the Avalanche guys have to pivot and try and catch up. But it wasn't close. He just exploded out of there. And I'm curious now, this is a 6'3", 200+ pound winger. He's going to make some money.
And deservedly so.
I mean, where he came from, like beyond an afterthought. Into he's a middle six forward.
That's what he is.
Those guys they're hard to come by at that size, and as he showed last night, that speed. But also like he went in, he looked like he had a clue what he was going to do with it.
Yeah.
He delivered that pretty crisply. That was a pretty sweet goal for him. It was eye-popping to watch him skate away. It really was.
Yeah. Do you think teams in the East now, I mean, it's still jammed up. It feels like that's going to be a storyline wire to wire in the NHL. But you see the Tampa Bay Lightning just on an absolute heater right now, as we talked about earlier. The Leafs right there, with points in 10 games. And we're going to talk about the New York Rangers in just a moment. But if you're a team below now Toronto, in that wild card spot, you're sitting there going, okay, well, now we got a problem, for a big chunk of the first half.
You know why, Dregs? I think they'd think that, those teams, is that Toronto was thought to be one of those 8 teams that were in anyway.
Yeah.
At the start of the year. But they weren't. And so there were these surprise teams that were in. Now all of a sudden the Leafs have pushed to the edge of this thing. And you're like, oh, yeah, well, they were supposed to be here. Like it was more a surprise that they weren't there, I think, than maybe almost any other team. So look at what's happened, though. The Lightning, 10 in a row. Toronto, 8-0-2. Buffalo is won 13 of 15, I think. Yep. And so, like, if you can grab one stretch like this, I think you can really change your seasonal fortune, because everybody else is beating each other and stumbling over top of each other. Making up points is going to be really, really difficult. If you can get that cushion here by the Olympic break of 6 or 8 points, I think it's enormous. It only looks like 3 games or 4 games, but I think it's enormous if you can get yourself into that position.
Yeah, and it also cuts the other way, and it's good that you bring up the Olympic break, because that feels like the window between now and then that Chris Drury and the New York Rangers are looking at to see how deep that knife, from a management perspective, needs to cut. I mean, what is your read on this Rangers team amid a ton of speculation from top guys to all the deals that Drury needs to make to get this team back on track?
Well, I did the game Saturday afternoon when they lost 10-2 in Boston. And to borrow a line from our buddy Jamie McLennan, they came third in that game. Like, it was it was unbelievable to watch. I will say, not just because of the 10 goals, but that certainly had something to say about it. That was the worst 6-man defensive grouping I've seen this year.
Worst?
Now, Adam Fox wasn't there, right? So, I mean, that takes 27 minutes out of the game, but Adam was not there. Schneider got that. It was as sloppy or poor a game as I've seen Brayden Schneider play. Gavrikov's a good player. I like him.
Yeah.
But you get past that, and I was like, this defense they cannot, even with Fox there, they cannot move the puck. They do not move the puck. So like you say, where's the knife go? Like, almost anywhere. Like, who would you say is untradeable, like from a no trade perspective on that team? And I don't really know who that would be. I mean, there's guys, of course, we hear all the time with no trades, and that certainly makes a big difference. Um, but I get the hint now. These no trades they're really nice. They look good on paper until somebody comes and talks to you and says, "We don't really want you around here anymore."
Yeah,
And then
unless you're Artemi Panarin, right? You've got the no
yeah,
move and you're an
yeah,
unrestricted free agent and things aren't going well in negotiations and you just go, hey, no, I don't come to
yeah,
me with a no move. I'm going to walk
right.
and you're getting nothing for me. And that could happen. That could happen.
That would be a crushing blow. Like he's ever since he's been to New York, he's led the team in scoring every year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the guy's a phenomenal player. And I know you can always pick apart a player, right? Like that will
Yeah.
always happen. And you can pick apart some things of Panarin's game. You can pick apart Nikita Kucherov if you want to. I take them both. Like I think they're freaking phenomenal players.
Yes.
So, but when I look at the Rangers, I would say that the two areas they're farthest away from being um, competitive, legit competitive.
Yeah.
Their defense is honestly is that's got to be a work in progress. That's got to be under construction. The second thing is they're slow. They're not quick. They If you look at their top six, like Miller is not fast, Lafreniere is not fast, Panarin
Mm-hmm.
is not fast, Zibanejad, who's played really well, he's not super fast. So you've kind of Trocheck can be a water bug still, but
Yeah.
there's like they're not a fast team. Today's game, you have to have pace. You just have to, and so I think those are really significant issues that they've got in New York.
Yeah. Well, issues in Columbus.
Oh
Columbus,
yeah,
45 games in, makes a coaching change. Dean Evason, good buddy of yours, is out as head
yeah.
coach of the Blue Jackets. And 70-year-old Rick Bowness is dragged out of retirement. He comes in to take over the Blue Jackets bench, at least until the end of the year. Um, I think most of us would admit did not see this coming. Did not see it coming. There were rumblings and stuff and whatever. We don't have to get into all of that. You can any team that maybe underachieves. Hey, we talked about the
Sure.
Maple Leafs a few minutes ago. 2 weeks ago, there were people calling for Craig Berube's job
Right.
in Toronto.
Yeah.
That's the way it is in pro sports. That's the way it is. But what do you see Rick Bowness coming in as a veteran coach that is going to lift the Columbus Blue Jackets to a higher level than what Dean Evason was capable of doing?
Well, I guess the biggest way would be that the one thing that really was their Achilles heel is they could not close out a game. They led in the third period than anybody and couldn't close it out. And so I would say that's probably where they're looking and saying, you know what, with a tweak or two, maybe we could be a lot better. Like we could
Yeah.
close out some of those games. Their goaltending has been an issue in Columbus for a long time. Merzlikins had his first start in about 3 weeks the other day. Jed
Mhm.
Greaves is playing all their games, and that's an issue. Kent Johnson has fallen off the map. Cole Sillinger was a high pick, and he hasn't really made an impact either. So those picks are like 3 and 4 in the draft.
Yeah.
Like those, you got to hit on those.
Yeah.
And the one thing I always hear about Columbus, and it's true, is that people like it there. They like being there. They like playing there. They've never really got it right there. It's 25 years, and they've never really gotten it right. And I don't know why, essentially, that they haven't been able to be a better team than they have been. There's been lots of years where they've had good players, right? They really have. I mean, you can easily forget Panarin was the Columbus Blue Jacket,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so like they've had really good moments, but they've not been able to kind of get over the hump and be a team that competes for a playoff spot all the time. And it's kind of surprising in a way. It really is. It's been long
Yeah.
enough.
The New Jersey Devils win a game, right? They snap a 4-game skid with that 5-2 win in St. Paul over the Wild, which is impressive. I mean, the Minnesota Wild,
Right.
obviously a very, very good team. Jesper Bratt scored 2 goals in 21 seconds. And hey, there's Dougie Hamilton back in the lineup again. He was a healthy scratch on Sunday, and he contributes with a couple of assists in that win as well. I mean, maybe temporarily it doesn't silence but softens maybe the noise around the Devils fades a little bit. But when you watch this team player, maybe specifically Dougie Hamilton, what are you seeing or what are you not seeing that would have led, aside from, look, we heard from Sheldon say, well, Kovacevic is back, he's healthy, we're heavy on the right side, somebody's got to sit out. All right, will you do that with your $9 million guy who's playing 20 plus minutes? It didn't pass the sniff test. It really didn't.
No.
So, you know.
No, it did not. No matter what, I mean, there's so much more, of course, going on with that, with Dougie Hamilton, of course, the no trades, the blocking of a trade apparently in the summer. He's an interesting guy because he gets 40 to 50 points all the time. And he always seems to be a guy talked about that, I don't know, I'm not real sure about him, right? It's been there forever since he was in Boston. This doesn't feel like, okay, the waters are smoothed over and everything's, so I would suspect they're still grinding away to make something happen. I've said this in the last couple of shows. I'll say it again. People need to realize, or fans can say whatever they need to say, right? They're fans, they're emotional.
Yeah.
The media, who are supposed to know a little bit more, they need to understand just go do something doesn't happen. Just make a move. That doesn't happen. You can't just make a move. I can't call you up and say, hey, Darren, I'm sending you my $9 million defenseman. Give me those 2 things. It doesn't happen. And so I can assure you the management in New Jersey understands the problem, and they've been trying to fix it. Even though, and it's not just specific to Hamilton, even though it looks like nothing's happening, the reason it's not happening is they can't make a deal. They can't get the deal done that they want to make. I'm sure they've noticed the deficiencies in their team. Mm-hmm. And if they haven't, they should all be fired. But I'm telling you, they have noticed. Now, the execution of it becomes the next part. And that's where the pressure gets heavier and heavier and heavier on the management team. Like, they all know, they all can see what their problems are. Each team can. And they'd like to fix them. But there's not an unending supply of players. Do you not think LA would like to be faster and get another forward that can score? Like, of course they would. Who's offering that up?
But LA is playing well.
Oh my God. Jim Hiller said in his press conference yesterday, they've lost 11 of 16, and he said, we're playing well.
Sorry, Jim. I'm not laughing at you.
It's just not. That's just not the answer. Whatever the answer is, man, it's frustrating. We got to look at why we're not scoring that one extra goal. Whatever you want to say, we're playing well is not the answer there.
No.
But maybe you get 2 teams that are really stuck in a ditch and they make a trade amongst themselves. Mm-hmm. Unless you get to the point where the Rangers, who are evaluating their position, the Canucks are clear in theirs. What teams am I missing? Chicago probably is in a sell-off position. Like,
St. Louis,
St. Louis, those teams maybe make some deals amongst themselves, amongst players that aren't going to be back. Like, maybe that is a trigger for you, but holy, Jersey, like, maybe Jersey can make a trade with a team like St. Louis, that St. Louis is moving players. Jersey's not in that point yet. Those are where the moves, I think, start to happen.
Okay, let's wrap up the Canadian Brewhouse headlines with a bit of fun. And you flipped me this post last night on Monday night. Former goaltender, now Preds analyst Chris Mason sparked an annual discussion with his post on X, acknowledging that if the playoffs were to start now we're talking about Monday night, doesn't really matter. Dallas and Minnesota in the West, second and third in the National Hockey League, would play each other in round one of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Now, he's advocating, as many have, and many owners would prefer, conference seeding. 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. And obviously that would be a reward for regular season play, but it would also, in the argument, keep some of the top teams alive longer in the Stanley Cup postseason, right? And yet it comes up every year, and we'll go to the meetings in March, the general managers meetings, and maybe Commissioner Bettman will address it as part of his media avail in Milan at the Olympics. I don't know, but every year it comes up, and every year Gary dismisses it. Just, no, we like it the way it is. I don't understand it.
I don't get it. In this scenario, the regular season is absolute nonsense because you beat your brains in if you're Dallas and Minnesota to play each other.
Yeah.
So now really all you're playing for is the extra home game.
Yeah.
So in the standings, the way they were the day that Chris screenshotted them. So let's say Dallas beats Minnesota in the first round, and Colorado takes care of the second wild card team. Now you've got 2 of the 3 best teams in the league will be out by the end of the second round.
Yeah.
How does that reward the regular season for the 82 games that you keep saying, oh, the regular season is so important? Well, is it? What the hell's the difference? I actually would rather not play Dallas and Minnesota in the first round. If I'm either of those teams, I'm like, man, I'd rather be the first wild card.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to play that team, and maybe I can flip over into the other division. Like it does not make sense to eliminate the top end teams in the first round. And there's always some that say, no, it should just be 1 versus 16. That'll never happen because of the travel, right? Like that's not
too much.
Happen.
I agree. Yeah.
But 1 versus 8, like that scenario in each conference, I think there's a better chance you end up with the best teams.
Yeah.
That early on in the playoffs, I think this is the important part. Early on in the playoffs, they get rewarded for the 6 months of the regular season.
Yeah.
Because right now you're telling me that's a reward for Dallas and Minnesota. Do you think by the time those teams get to the playoffs, home ice really matters?
No.
Does it really? Like it? They're going to be excellent teams over 100 points. It doesn't matter. I when I saw that, I'm like, man, I got to send this to you because I think it's time. Everything can be good. Why not look at making it better?
Agreed. And get creative. And look, I know there are several owners out there who like the idea of a play-in formula, right? Like generate more.
Sign me up
buzz.
for that.
Yes.
Sign me up for that.
Yes. And I haven't, in fairness, I haven't talked to the commissioner about this directly. So secondhand, some of the pushback, the networks don't like it. And that I want to have a conversation with a network executive that wouldn't want the eyeballs that would be generated on a play-in game at the end of the regular season. I mean,
so Dregs, they actually, and here's the other thing, they actually have, if they pick their nose up and look, real life example of what the play-in looks like. And I know this because Landon played in Germany, and I've said it before, but they have a play-in to get in.
Yeah.
The 7 to 10 teams play in. And it is unbelievable hockey.
It has to be.
And Drake's, it's a 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
They do it in 4 days. And now you've got
like a hockey tournament.
It is. Yeah. Short of hallway knee hockey. It's a hockey tournament. And so if you think of this, we keep celebrating this parity in the league. So again, through 6.5 months, we've got a team in the playoffs by a regulation win or a shootout loss. And so there's no difference really between the 7 to 10.
No.
So they're adding 2 games to the regular season as per the new CBA. What if those 2 games were the play-in games, the 2 out of 3s? You don't think there's as much or more revenue in those than anything else? Come on,
Guaranteed.
there is. There
Has
is.
to be.
There is no complication big enough in that scenario for me not to explore it. There is not.
Well, thanks to Chris Mason
thanks,
for helping
Mace.
us out with this, because it's an annual debate. There's no doubt about that. You've laid out the reasons why it should work. He did too as part of his Twitter post. So it's going to get shot down, but it's deserving of our attention, and perhaps one day we'll gain some traction. So those are your headlines. Thank you to the Canadian Brewhouse. We've got Ask Ray and Dregs coming up on Thursday. At that point, we'll introduce Ryan Rashog, and the questions get more intense this time of year, right? Because things are happening around the NHL. You've got the Olympic roster freeze looming. Then you've got March 6th trade deadline. So second half is always a bit more engaging. So look forward to that. But we've also got the Tim's Hockey Challenge.
Jeez, do we have to do it today? Do we have to do it today?
Well, yes. I'm sporting my fancy new Tim Hortons. I guess it's an insulated mug. I just picked it up at the local Tim Hortons here. Zuby, what do you think? It's kind of nice. Eh?
I love it. I have one of those. In fact, actually, I've been saying I gotta remember to get it down here in the morning for my morning coffee. Which I did. I'm a little off today, fellas.
Why?
I made a morning coffee and I just thought about it. Now I haven't touched it. It's sitting on my machine over there.
It's too far, isn't it?
Yeah. It's about 18 inches past my hand here. So it was too far for me to go get. I don't know. I guess
I'm the exact opposite. I'm the burn your mouth guy. Like when I make that coffee first thing in the morning, or I grab one on the drive-through, I can't get that thing to my mouth fast enough, and instantly I'm like, Jesus, you burn the roof of your mouth. I can drink 2 cups of coffee in 15 minutes max, maybe 10.
Okay. This is, I would say, the quantity of coffee, of course, changes your caffeine intake, like how much you can handle. Yeah. So I've come back from a morning skate and I have a coffee and get back to the room, have a little lunch. I'm sipping the coffee and then I take my nap, but the coffee is sitting on the night table and, and I wake up and I start sipping my coffee again. Now it's cold by this time, but I fall asleep right in the middle of the coffee. I'm like, God, maybe I should limit that intake a little bit. What do you think?
I can sleep. When I play late night beer league, I have a coffee before every game. It doesn't matter when puck drop is. So I have a coffee for game 10:30 p.m. games, and I have no problem getting to sleep afterwards. So I do think it's obviously there's something your body gets used to.
Yeah.
One other thing on what you guys were just talking about, and also for Ask Ray and Dregs, I'm going to get a question there. You don't have to answer this now, of course, about an NBA style in-season tournament, which there's been a little bit of chatter about.
Boo.
But on what
I'm going to say boo.
I thought you might, but on what you were just saying too about the play-in games, the other thing that I like about the play-in games is there is a reward for the top 6 if they get a week of rest, right? Yes. So there's bigger reward in the that you're playing for in the regular season. So I love that idea as well.
Yeah, it's a good one. Just not good enough for the commissioner's office.
All right. Well, I'll send him an email or something maybe. So
yes, do please.
Get the wheels turning on that. All right, let's get to the Tim's Hockey Challenge here. We're all kind of, I don't know if this is the dog days.
Scuffling.
We're all kind of stumbling and scuffling a little bit. I got Shogger calling me here. Shogger, we're still recording. So Dregs went 1 for 3 this week. He's still the clear-cut leader here, 26 for
he's
69.
Running away with the thing. What could go wrong?
50 points. Ray.
What could go wrong?
Ray went 0 for 21 for. Again. He's 21 for 69, so 5 behind. 525 points. Shogger got 1, but it's still pretty dismal. 14 for 69. So Dregs has 26, Ray 21, Schauger 14. I don't know if there's enough runway left for him to catch up.
No,
here.
he's out. He's
Well,
done. It's over.
Points.
I thought last week when he selected Kelly Buchberger, that was a bad choice.
Yeah, second bucket too. I don't know.
Yeah, it's strange.
Very ambitious.
It's like he's got a hockey card of him or something that it
weird.
Reminds him, you know.
Yeah. He was a super fan back in the day, yeah.
And then the Rain Dregs account, I've got 77. I had 1 for 3 last week as well. Schauger and I riding that as I rode the Macklin Celebrini train for much of 2 weeks ago. Yeah. It's been the I picked Connor McDavid and then 2 dart throws after that, and it still seems to work out not too bad right now. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, it's a pretty safe pick these days, isn't it? Holy smokes!
Yeah.
Although I didn't take him today. I didn't take him in today. No, I didn't.
Nope.
Stupidly.
I took Kasperi Kapanen today as my Oiler.
So did I in the third hole.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to think who I took. I can't remember. The second bucket was a little tougher today.
Yeah,
it was.
I feel like I went Mark Scheifele ahead of McDavid and Matthews, and that's just playing the hunch because the Jets have won a couple of games.
It's not bad.
Second pick, I took Matthew Nyes of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then Kasperi. Yeah.
Now, see, I should send the picks in to you guys so you have them, because then I could read them on my computer, because I made them 40 minutes ago and I can't remember who I picked.
That's all right. Well, we'll remind you on Thursday in our next edition of the podcast.
When I still have 21 correct. Yeah.
We're always tweaking, fellas. We'll make the adjustment. We could have the pre-picks as well as the catch-up. I got McDavid. I took Lane Hudson out of that second group. It's lots of power play defensemen, so that might be a bit of a crapshoot. And Jordan Spence from Ottawa, who I like. I got him on my fantasy team, so maybe he can come through for me.
Jesus!
In that third.
That is left field, my boy.
That's a deep cut. But there's lots of deep cuts in the third bucket today.
I love this guy, but Luke Shen was also available in that third hole.
I think a little more offensive upside for Spence, but the team's struggling.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it. Thanks, you.
Guys.
Go have your coffee.
Zabunya, who's got a lukewarm coffee to tend to here. Yes, as part of our Tim's Hockey Challenge. What's the game menu for Ray Ferraro this week, right?
Oh, actually, I'm going to Vegas tomorrow for the Leafs game on Thursday. I'm looking forward to that. Should be a really good game. Always get in. Can always look forward to Steve Levy buying me dinner. He's a big Vegas guy. He's a big Vegas guy. He really, really is.
Like the tables and embraces are just the atmosphere.
And he likes the tables, but he likes the atmosphere. He's kind of a big shooter. So he's like, they were like, oh, hey, Mr. Levy, one of those guys. And so I just walk behind him, and wherever he goes, I follow along. It's always kind of good. And then I'm home for a couple of weeks. Not sure how it's going to go. I got to be honest with you. An 8-game homestand for the Canucks. And so I got a few of those, and that's not going so well. Well, it depends. It's either going perfectly or not very well at this point.
Yeah. Well, you're right.
The problem is, like, I've played on teams, better or worse than this Canuck team, but ones that don't win very much, and like the frustration that piles over top of you really hurts your play.
Yeah.
Like I don't, it's hard to explain, but you're just a little slow, a little sluggish. Like, I'm looking at someone like Brock Besser. He hasn't scored in like 25 games or something, or 19 games.
Wow.
And what you can't control, you have to understand. The hardest thing in the game is to score goals.
Yeah.
The easiest thing and the thing you have the most control over is your work rate. And right now, for somebody like Besser, those are not connected.
Right.
And so he thinks he's working hard enough. He's just not.
Yeah.
And he's just he's heavy on everything, like a little slow on everything he's doing. And pretty soon you don't score in 15 games. And, and so there's a number of players like that. When the team hits like they are right now, oh my gosh, it is tough to turn. But so I got 4 of those things, and we'll see how that goes. And what about you? What do you got going?
We've got a busy week this week. We're recording here on Tuesday, so we've got the Leafs in Utah, late one tonight for us in the East. These 10 o'clock starts are no good. I'm too old for this kind of stuff, because I'm up early in the morning. I'm grinding. I'm, trying to get everything going. So that's Tuesday. And then Thursday, we also have the Vegas game. So looking forward to that as well.
Yep. I am looking forward to seeing the TSN guys out there and in Vegas. And so we'll, so the week will be busy, and then you can get a nap in on Friday.
I'll try my best. All right, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks. Talk to you guys Thursday. Everybody, thanks for listening, and have a good week. And Chaser, all the best, buddy.
Yes, of course. And thank you to our sponsors who continue to support the Rain Dregs Hockey Podcast. Our title sponsor, Tim Hortons, thank you as always. And thank you to the Canadian Brew House. Until next time, stay safe, everybody.